once again.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another multimeter review. Wait, not a multimeter review? No, not today. Nah, today's a digital soldering station review. That's right, we're going to be looking at this brand new in the box, digitally controlled soldering station. Just got it off of eBay, and I don't know, I'm kind of excited. Now this cost me 89 bucks Canadian. I've seen it, well, as high as 99, but yeah, for 89 Canadian, not too shabby. If we take a look at the specs, we see that they are saying a nice big LCD display, short time to heat up, adjustable temperature, a buy up and down button, quick and easy tip replacement, built-in tray with cleaning sponge. Gotta love it. Now they also have some specs here on the other side of the box, and one of them that piqued my interest is the display precision. So they're claiming 5% precision in terms of that heat dissipation. So we're gonna verify if that's true or not. So 110 volts North American voltage, and yeah, that's what we're looking at today. So without further ado, this came from DigiParts. They're kind of a global supplier in electronics, what have you. So open up the box, and right away we get a soldering station manual. Get quite a hefty looking soldering iron here. 48 watts, 24 volts with temperature probe. Interesting. Now what's neat with this particular station is the fact that they're also giving you not only tips, but they are giving you an extra element, heating element, right here. So the one you're using eventually goes south. Hey, no worries, you have another one as a backup. Very nice, very cool. And that's all part of the package. So sometimes these can cost 10-20 bucks extra. So very nice. I'm liking it. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 tips altogether. I'm sorry, 5 tips altogether, if we're going to include the tip that comes with the soldering iron. And yeah, they actually look fairly decent quality. Okay, here we go. We're gonna take away the box. Nice packaging. Everything seems to be really well packaged. I always like it when a supplier, OEM, whatever, goes that little extra and just make sure that when they ship the product to you, that when you get it, it's actually going to be like new. Not scratched or dinged or dented, but I mean like new, and that's the way it should be. So 2 thumbs up in that respect. Okay, so what do we have? First of all, well, here is our soldering station. It is a kind of industrial gray. Interesting, they have, oh, okay, so it's kind of attached to the main temperature control assembly, and I'm assuming that can probably come off. But we'll take a look at that a little bit. Let's go ahead and take out the soldering iron, I'm sorry. Too many multimeter reviews. Okay, now right off the get-go, very, very nice. Has a real nice grip to it. So yeah, I like it. I'm liking what I'm seeing. The wire is very thick gauge, as you can see. Now sometimes that can be problematic because it gets in the way when you're soldering, but I've got no complaints as far as that goes. Now I'm just going to hook it into the soldering station, and it just screws in like so, and we're going to plop it in like that. And let me find a plug, and let's plug this guy in. Alrighty, so we've got it plugged in and let's turn it on. There we go. One thing we do want to point out as well is that AC plug. Very nice gauge wire here. This is pretty industrial feeling, so not your typical 120 volt plug-in cord. No, very high quality. So that's nice to see. All right, so as you can see right now, we have the temperature set to a default of 330 degrees Celsius, and the soldering iron is telling us that it is in the process of heating up. So that's cool. I'm liking it already. Now this is your little tray for, what the hell is that? Now I don't use sponges. I prefer the brass pads and what have you, but you know, no big deal. You can always replace that with a brass pad, right? It's not going to fit in there, but that's okay. All right, so it's still heating up, almost there. So I'd say that was about a minute or so to get to this 330. Oh, I can smell it. Now you can see that smoke. Do you see the smoke billowing? You see that smoke billowing? It's billowing. Yes, that's just like when you get a new car, you know. It's all heating up those internals for the first time, so that's normal. Now, if it turns into a black puff of smoke, that's probably not normal, but so far so good. Okay, so we're sitting around 327 degrees. Now, there we are, 330, 331. Let's take a look at that tip. Very nice. So, first thing we're going to do is actually check this temperature. Okay, so right now we have the BT39C. Cutesy little multimeter I was really happy with from my last review. We're going to use this to measure the temperature as well as this Heiko clone temperature tester, the FG100. And we'll start with the BT meter. And I'm just going to try and set it up on here. Try and get this probe tip right at the bottom. Let's just see. So it's showing 330 degrees Celsius. So let's see how close that is. That's pretty warm. That's over 600 degrees Fahrenheit. So that's pretty hot. I'll probably put a little bit of solder on there. All right. And so there we go. So according to the BT meter, yeah, 332 degrees thereabouts. Pretty well, yeah, 332. Actually, if you look at the top, the temperature is saying 333, so go figure. Yeah, that works. That is looking good. Now we will also try the FG100. Let's see if this is going to coincide with the BT meter. Here we go. So the FG100 is showing us a slightly higher reading, around 360. Now I have found in the past that this FG does tend to be a little on the high side, so I will lean definitely more towards the BT reading in this respect. But still, I mean, you know, pretty well, pretty close, I would say. So that's, you know, one of the most important things when it comes to these soldering stations is just how accurate is that variable temperature control. Because if it's not accurate, then it's just a waste of time, right? Then you're basically just soldering at one temperature. So to test accuracy again, what we're going to do, we're going to bring it down. We're going to bring it right down to, oh, let's say 200, 225. Now there is no backlight on this LCD as you can see, but it's still pretty easy on the eyes. Here, I'll put a bit more light on there for you guys. Okay, so we're sitting at 225. Now you can see the soldering station itself is lowering the temperature, and that's what we want to see. Okay, so it took about a minute or so, but we are down to 225 degrees is a set temperature, and on the soldering station itself it is displaying a reading of 224. And if we look at the BT meter, pretty close, showing us around 240. Let's see what's happening here. 228, 230. So yeah, that is pretty well close. So 229, 228, 230. You know, we're talking really minute. It's definitely in that 5% range. So yeah, I am really impressed in terms of the accuracy of this soldering station. So wow, good stuff. It's always nice to tin your lead. It helps remove tip oxidation, keeps it clean, minimizes residue. What I like to use is this tip tinner. This one is from Thermaltronics, but there's various manufacturers. They all pretty well do the same thing. And yeah, look at that. So the nice thing with this tip tinner is it cleans and it helps protect your tip all in one fell swoop. Now you can use solder, but if you want some really nice, easy, quick results, this tip tinner is really amazing. Just like to put it in just like so, and take your wire brush, just clean it again, dip it in again. You can just see it oozing right into that lead. Look at that, it's gorgeous, gorgeous. Clean it off again, and it's just a really, really nice way to keep your tip clean and ready for action. Speaking of action, I'm going to solder some parts, and we'll see just how good this soldering iron actually is when it comes to soldering. Alrighty, so I am heating the soldering iron up to around 325 degrees Celsius, and we are just going to do a little bit of soldering. Here's an old meter PCB. Well, not that old, but it went south. And what do we want from this guy? Well, let's see. Let's look at that crystal oscillator. You can never have too many oscillators. Alrighty. So I am going to put it down there. Now we can see right away we're looking at around 325 degrees. And yeah, that is just melting, no problem. I'm going to try and do this with, wow, that was fast, yeah. So that was really simple. We have an LED as well here. Let's see if we can take that off as well. Now this is just the standard tip that it's shipped with, nothing fancy. And yeah, I mean, look at that, wow. So definitely no issues here. Yeah, it helps when you have that nice heat coming out of that tip. So wow, yeah, I'm really impressed thus far with this particular unit. A lot more than I was expecting by a long shot. So that was a breeze. Yep. And the other nice thing is the fact that this unit does ship with all of these tips. And that being said, they actually seem to be pretty decent quality-wise. Yeah, I like what they've done with the exterior. You've got what looks like a chisel tip, conical, and almost like a needle nose, probably for some fine SMD work. As well, it ships with your sort of basic everyday usage tip. But as I said, quality-wise, they do seem to be fairly well made. Now, the other nice thing about these tips as well is here I pulled out a made in Japan. This is a genuine Goot tip. I'll take it out of the package just so we can sort of look, but can tell, now this is what ships with this OEM soldering station, and this is the Goot tip. So, you know, a lot I mean, they have the same weight as well. And wow, they look really very similar. So you're getting some really good quality tips here with this unit. I'm really impressed. And just to verify that this is properly grounded, indeed it is. So good to see. Now this soldering station has 4 rubber feet. I've taken 3 of them off, but as you can tell, yeah, look at that. To get inside, it's not your typical Phillips. No, it's more of a hex type screw. So I gotta find me one of those so we can get into this bad boy. Be right back. So the side assembly for the soldering holder does come off. They've got these interesting sort of blue rubber stoppers here and here. I've already removed one, and once you can remove them, yeah, you can see what I'm looking at here. Come on. Oh, yeah. All right, so once it comes out like so, then it's just going to be a matter of pushing it up, and voila, coming right off. So the assembly, the housing is plastic. It is not metal. It is plastic. That's too bad. But at least the damn thing comes off. Okay, so now, the moment of truth, the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's get naked. No. Just take it off. There we are. Okay. Oh. Okay. Wow. Me likes. So right off the get-go, we're looking at a model ZDT-30-5 transformer. Input 115 volts. Output 12 volts. 12 to 26 volts. So, and you know what? My first impression is this is some pretty good quality here. Very, very thick gauged wire on this transformer. Look at that. I mean, that's almost industrial strength, really. Super duper quality. Yeah. And now we have these heat sinks as well. We have, try and bring this up for you here. 2 ICs on the PCB itself, and the LCD display. Probably one of them would be a display driver, I'm assuming. Looks like we have not 1 but 2 voltage regulators. Mostly SMD. There is a couple of through-hole capacitors, but the majority of it is SMD components. And once again, it's all very good quality from what I can tell here. 931-180-917D. The date on this PCB, wow, 2015-5-5, so May 5th, 2015. So it's not the most recent release, let's put it that way, but you know what? Doesn't matter. This is pretty decent quality. Very, very nice. Now, as well, here we have the beeper, because apparently, according to the manual, it says if the soldering station is operated without a soldering iron or with a defective soldering iron, a warning sound will be heard and the display will flash error. So we'll see if we can test that out as well. That's what that piezo is for right there. And the other thing worth mentioning as well is that the soldering station apparently will also remember the last temperature that was set on it. But once again, so in terms of the quality inside, very nice PCB. Honestly can't say if this has been soldered by hand or by machine, but if it's hand soldered, it was very, very, very well done. Very nice, heavy-duty transformer, solid gauge wiring. Look at the insulation here, you know. big heavy ground over here. I don't know, I'm impressed. So now as well, there is a fuse apparently on the unit. Now if we look here at the back, so that is where the fuse would go. And oh yeah, okay, so the fuse, they've used a ton of glue to hold up that fuse holder right here. And let's just take a screwdriver and let's just see what happens. Come on. And there it is. So a lot of these cheap generic Chinese clones will use a pigtail style fuse that's actually soldered to the PCB itself, or sometimes to the side of the assembly. In this case, they've actually done a kind of old school, and they've embedded that fuse and carried it through that way. And let me just get this. Yeah, so yeah, it's not a pigtail, just a good old fashioned nice 1 amp 250 volt fuse, easy to replace. And yeah, I really like that idea. So I'm gonna put that back in. And I mean, look at the glue. I mean, just really nicely done. Yeah, so all in all, I'm gonna say this is high quality. Very nice. And I have no terms about long-term reliability. And just before I put it back together, once again, I just want to point out, look at the quality here, the crimping that's going on. I mean, it's insane. Like, this is super high quality. So yeah, I'm just like overwhelmed. It's really nicely done. Yeah, so just putting this guy back together, and you know, once again, just really good quality. I mean, nice big rubberized feet, so it's not going to be moving around on your workstation. And those hex screws go in there nice and tight. And yeah, you know, just all in all, quite impressive. Now, honestly, yeah, if this would have been metal, at least maybe the soldering iron holder, that was metal. Now, there was a metal spring in there, what have you, but that's probably my only gripe. But, I mean, the plastic does feel very heavy duty, very sort of industrial. So I'm sure it's going to stand the test of time. Now, this station is not the easiest to find online. It's rather unfortunate, really, because so far I'm quite impressed. You can even tell in the back they're talking about, there is no actual name. They're saying soldering station, power 48 watts, 110 volts. And it does come with a 1 amp fuse, replaceable. Do you get that well there? Comes with a 1 amp fuse. But yeah, it does suffer from lack of exposure, so it's too bad there's not a little bit better advertising for this particular. Okay, and we'll just see if the alarm system's going to work. So we do not have a soldering iron plugged into the base station itself. We will turn the base station on, and as you can see, we are being displayed as error. So that works. Something else worth pointing out that I just noticed as well, and it was not on the soldering station. If you look at the certification here, it is TUV Rhineland certified. So there is some German standard of certification on this meter, and that's definitely a good thing. As you can tell, taking a look at the inside of that soldering station, it is definitely high grade of build quality. So you are paying for some really good build quality with this guy. Yeah, it comes at a price. It's not $30–40. Like I said, this cost $89 Canadian, but you are getting a lot of bang for the buck. Closing thoughts on the Stanz DDSS Digital Display 48 watt variable soldering station. I freaking love it. Yeah, you know, I'm not a meter snob. I'm not a soldering station snob. I've got Yale gongs. I have 937D Heiko clones. I've got Pace ADS 200 and a bunch of other great stations. So, you know, I play no favorites. What I look for and what I hope for is good build quality and just overall ease of use. This is an easy station to get started with. You just plug and you play. Away you go. Very little learning curve. Very easy to set the temperature, and the display is very, very accurate. The only gripes, maybe the fact there is no backlight with this soldering station. That would have been a little nice addition, as well as perhaps if the assembly for the soldering station, for the soldering iron holder, would have been at least metallic. But that being said, build quality wise, definite 10 out of 10. Overall, I think you could do a lot worse in the Stanz DDSS, but you know what? It's going to be hard to do a lot better at this price. This is really a high quality item. It is hard to find. I will put a link below. But if you're in the market for a new soldering station, I definitely would say give this one a try. You won't be disappointed. The Stanz DDSS Digital Display gets a solid 4.5 out of 5 stars. Hey, thanks for watching this electronics review. As always, keep on testing.